Joining us now, Republican District 5, one of my favorite congressmen of all time. I'm so sad that he's retiring. Congressman Robert Hurt. Congressman, great to have you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Same to you, John. Thanks for having me on the program. And I certainly hope you had a good Christmas and welcome the New Year in grand style. I know you did.
It's not going to be the same without you and my favorite people, because you come on every 2 weeks. You tell the truth. You tell us exactly what's on your mind, exactly what's going on, and you're going to be missed. Now, you will have completed 3 terms, sir, at the end of the 2016 House of Representatives session. What led you to decide to retire after such a short tenure?
Well, I started this probably 15 years ago. I started was first elected to Chatham Town Council. I was 30 years old and was in the House of Delegates for 6 years in Richmond, and then in the State Senate for 3 years, and then elected to Congress in 2010 in a big election. I think, as I said in my statement, I never intended when I first ran to make a career of this. I really intended to serve for a few years. Never envisioned going to Washington when I first started out. And so with all that said, Kathy and I talk about it every 2 years, and we've been talking about it for a period of time, and about whether to run it again, and decided that if we were going to make a change and not do this for a career, this was the right time. And so it's been a tremendous honor to be able to represent my neighbors and our constituents in different capacities over the last 15 years. I feel like we've got a strong record of being a strong voice in Richmond and in Washington for our constituents, for common sense conservative principles. I feel like we've made a lot of progress during that period of time. But at the end of the day, I think our founders, when they conceived this great nation, and I don't think that they believed that it was going to be run best by folks who were full-time elected leaders, part of a kind of a elected class. That's not to say that there aren't some who stay in for a long career and aren't very, very valuable. But I think generally speaking, it works better when you have new blood going in and going out, and so I'm really looking forward to getting back to practicing law in the private sector. And I'll also say this is probably the most important thing to say is we've got huge issues in the next 12 months, and so I look forward to continuing to serve the people I represent with the same energy that I have for the last 15 years, and that's a level of service that they've come to expect, and we intend to deliver.
Congressman Robert Hurt, Republican, 5th District. That's the south side of Virginia, one of the biggest landmass districts in the United States, certainly in the East. Congressman, do you feel liberated?
Well, listen, I love there's so much about the representation of your fellow citizens that is to love. I mean, and I have loved it so much. But there are also a lot of things, and we've talked about the frustrations on your program. I mean, tremendous frustrations with the way things are done in Washington that need to change. And I think under this new speaker, I think that I'm hopeful that we're going to see some significant change in the way the legislative process works. I think that's the key to success in the future. But certainly there has been tremendous frustration, and that's not and because of that frustration, because of the fact that Washington is so badly broken, that's why you have to have good people. That's why you have to send good people, and why good people need to do it. And so that's important. But I will say that I'm looking forward to getting back to the private sector. I said in my statement, I said I think our founders know, and the American people know that America is not great because of its elected officials, although they're very good people who serve. But that's not what makes America great. What makes America great is the private citizen and and private enterprise. And so with that in mind, of course, I'm looking forward to getting back to private life.
Okay, so you don't want to be a career Washington politician, Congressman, and I admire that. I really do. I also want our listeners to know you're not one of the Washington politicians that moved your family there. I mean, you came back every single weekend almost to your family.
That's right.
And so that's not an easy drive or flight or however you get back. I mean, it's not easy to do. And you've got children and, you haven't been able to do everything with them you would like. So what is the next step for Robert Hurt?
Well, I'm a lawyer, so I will look forward to practicing law. I'm not, I've got some time to think about exactly what form that will take, but it will be, but that'll be the core of it. And I love practicing law, and have missed that because, of course, when you're elected to Congress, you can't practice. When I was in the state legislature, I could practice as well as serve as a citizen legislator. But I'm looking forward to doing that, and obviously we'll have some time to think about all that. But that's the general plan.
Is your wife happy?
Yeah, I think everybody. It'll be a little bit of an adjustment. When again, I was 30. I'm 46 now. When I was first elected when I was 30, and so and Charles was I guess he was about a year old, 2 years old. And so this is for our three boys. This is sort of this is all they've ever known, and so it'll be a little bit of adjustment, but it's going to be a good thing, and we'll get through it together. It'll be fun.
Well, you're leading by example. I think this is a courageous decision. A lot of the frustration that many of us have with Washington is cornerstone in the fact that you have so many people that are there forever. And then the abuses, Congressman Robert Hurt, that go with it. Like, let me just give you one example, and then we have to get on to, I guess, more important things that matter. But the fact that the Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid, who has $600,000 in his campaign war chest, has gone to the Federal Election Commission asking to be able to spend that money on his transition. I mean, this is unheard of. And you've got Democrats on the Federal Election Committee who are collaborating with him. I mean, it just, people look at this and they're just sick of the whole thing. They're sick of it.
Yeah. Well, there is no question. I mean, Washington is badly broken, and it has gotten so far away from the people. And that's what people can't stand. That's the anxiety that we see all across this country on both sides of the aisle. Is just an anxiety about the fact that Washington has gotten so far removed. It's become its own political class unto itself. I think a huge amount of that is driven by, and we've talked about this on your program, but a lot of that is driven by the fact that you have an executive state that has supplanted in so many ways the normal legislative processes contemplated by our founders. Article 1, I always love to say, is Article 1 for a reason. It's the first article for a reason, because our founders did not want executive overreach. It did not want a president who writes the laws willy-nilly, even in the face of congressional opposition. They wanted a legislature that was going to be populated by the citizenry and was going and would be a bulwark against this monarchical system that they had a revolution against. Mm-hmm. And so I think in so many ways that that's the source of the problem, and that will take years to change. But you have to have committed people who are willing to go in and serve their time under arduous circumstances.
Well, look, I think you make a lot of sense. I certainly respect the decision that you've made, and I know our listeners do also. And the fact that you're leading what a citizen legislature in Washington should look like. You're leading by example. I remember covering the Newt Gingrich revolution in 93. And after he won, I had a meeting with him in his office. I had an interview with him. I was at the Daytona Beach News Journal, and it was like March. And I'm like, so how have you done on your contract? And he pulled it out. He started ticking them off. And he said, term limits, that's not going to happen. It was March. I mean, he just knew that was not going to happen. So I think, look, I think you made a very courageous decision. And now, for me personally, I'm upset because I'm going to miss our time with each other every couple weeks. You've been fabulous to work with, sir.
Yeah, well, same here, and that's been the. It's a hard decision. I love the people I represent. I love the people like you that I will get to work with, and I trust those associations will continue. But it has been a wonderful opportunity, and of course my gratitude to the people that I represent for giving me the opportunity and putting that faith in me is over the top.
Now let me give a shout out to your communications director, Abigail Sigler. She does a fabulous job.
Yeah,
and
she's wonderful.
I know she'll be with you to the end, but I'm sure you will aid her and your chief of staff and others. You got a fabulous staff, and I'm sure you'll aid them in finding spots.
And I should say that I'd put our staff up against any office in Washington. I mean, they work so hard.
They're really good.
That we represent, and that's what makes us successful and has made us successful.
And from our vantage point, obviously, we deal with your communications director a lot, and Abby's fabulous. I mean, I email her, text her anytime. She gets back to me immediately, and so I want to give her a shout out. Anybody out there looking for a top-notch communication director, you can get in touch with Abby. I got 5 minutes. President Obama's coming on TV with another gun grab executive order. 200 FBI agents he wants to hire, 200 ATF, $500 million for this, $500 million for that. Background checks. Obviously, Congress has got to fund this. In the reality, every time we get Republicans on and they say they're going to defund something, Obama wins. I mean, the guy's batting 1,000. He's like, I mean, I got on the earlier. I said Ted Williams had the highest average ever in the major leagues, 407. Obama's batting 1,000. I don't think you've ever beat him on anything. Why is this going to be different?
I'm not sure it will be. I certainly look forward to getting back to Washington today and seeing the exactly what the guts of his proposals are and looking for every way to stop them. It is amazing, as I said earlier, that we have a president who has taken executive action to a unilateral, unconstitutional executive action to a new level, to the highest level. And I think when you look back on this president's legacy, I don't think that there's going to be anything that is more damaged the fabric of this country, the fabric of self-governance in this country, than having an executive president who insists on making the law. It really goes to the heart of who we are as a nation, and that is do we believe that people in Washington, people like the president, will rule over us, or that we will rule ourselves? And in this instance, you have something that the Congress has explicitly rejected time and again, and this president says that the Congress is stupid. The people that the Congress represents is stupid, and that he is so much smarter than they are, and that he will use power he does not have to create laws that should not exist. And I just think it's to me it's the guts of the dysfunction. I think that we've seen it under Republican and Democratic presidents. I mean, Bush did some of the same things, not nearly to this extent, but it's something that the Congress has to step up and put an end to. Use its power of appropriation in the most effective way. I do think that Paul Ryan, the new speaker, will have more success in reforming some of these larger institutional issues than Boehner did. but we'll see. It's going to be hard, and it's going to take a long time because it's taken 40 or 50 years to get to where we are.
It's unbelievable. Congressman, are you leaning towards anybody in the Virginia March 1 Super Tuesday presidential primary?
I am not. I am watching and learning. I'm not sure as much as I think everybody would like to see the field winnowed so that we can start narrowing down. And I guess there are some that looks like to me they probably need to think about getting out of the field, but still in the process of trying to decide who I think really is going to be the best to beat Hillary Clinton and the best to lead this country forward.
All right, so maybe we'll see you back in Washington as President Trump's Attorney General. What do you think?
I don't think so, but that's funny. I'm excited. I think Hillary Clinton is eminently beatable. I think that she will, but we got to have somebody who's going to restore the power of the people in Washington. I mean, I don't think there's anything that's more important. And frankly, we talk about Donald Trump, and he's certainly he's got some strong attributes. I think clearly the one that attracts people the most, and that I think that any politician should learn from is be done with the political correctness. We got serious problems. The house is on fire. We need to solve these problems. We need to do it quickly. We don't have time to sit around and study it. And you
got to do something. Absolutely. Want to thank Congressman Robert Hurt for being with us. More info, hurt.house.gov. Congressman, we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks, John.